Okay, so last week I had a lot of lawn business owners really resonate with the video that I had on the benefits of staying solo. But on this channel, I always like to give two sides of the coin, and many of you know that we run a couple guys with our crew. Sometimes we bump up to three guys if we need them. But I want to share with you some of the benefits of actually having employees. So if you are a solo guy right now and life is great, I get it. I totally get it. But I just want to offer you some of the benefits that I have seen here at my company by adding a few employees. Number one is just increased efficiency. Look, I am absolutely shocked at the amount of yards that an efficient two-guy crew can absolutely just run through. Not to mention, if you add a third guy into that mix, man, I mean, it's nothing for a two-man crew to run through 25 lawns. You know, if you have good density in what you're doing, and you add a third guy onto that, you're probably not getting another, 12 lawns out of it, but it's just, holy cow, you are really, really just banging out the lawns. Your energy is fresh at the end of the day because, man, you just have so much more manpower. I mean, you are talking major volume whenever you start pushing 30, 35 lawns a day. And look, as a solo guy, I mean, our bodies, they just tap out. You know, there's only a certain amount of volume you can do as a solo guy. So the increased efficiency, there really is a major benefit to just being able to ramp up the volume of what you're doing. I mean, you can just rotate the walking task around like the weed eating or the edging and blowing and stuff. So everybody is just always fresh. And you get done at the end of the day and you're like, holy cow, like I still feel really good. There is a noticeable difference in fatigue when you're working solo as compared to working on a team. So number one, increased efficiency. Number two, and this is honestly a big one for me, is team culture and morale. Look, if you get a good team, like people that you really enjoy working with, and you are able to go and have a good work environment together, and there really is something to be said for having camaraderie among your team. You know, I grew up playing team sports, whether it was baseball or football or whatever, and there really is something to be said for just having a collective unit, like a whole that is pulling in the same direction. And even though we run a very small team here at Florida Turf Pros, I truly appreciate that aspect, that team aspect of, hey, we're working towards this together. Let's pull in the same direction. I got your back. Hey, you're not feeling good today, man. I'm going to pick up your slack today. There's many times, man, whenever I'm just like, man, I am wiped out. And the guys, they just absolutely carry me some days. So many organizations, they have like a brotherhood of sorts, whether you're doing police work, churches have a certain culture, like gyms have a certain culture. And if you are just able to just foster a culture, in your organization, in your small little lawn care business, and have that camaraderie of like, hey man, I got your back today. Man, it just really, really, it really is a blessing. And if you haven't been exposed to that, it really is a wonderful thing. Hey guys, if you're needing some help with your lawn care business, just a quick plug for Turf Pros Academy. We got a lot of resources in there, whether you're looking at starting a business or you just need like a postcard template or rate increase letters and stuff. That stuff is always down in the description of this video, so make sure you check it out. It'll really help your lawn business out for 2024. Number three is scalability, okay? We talked on efficiency in number one, but scalability is like, hey, there is an increasing need for your services, and by having additional manpower, you can scale up everything you're doing and just do more volume. Working solo, I have just found that if you're going to be doing this for the long haul and day in and day out, 12 yards is probably a comfortable number. I mean, that's getting with it if you're solo. I mean, you are getting with it if you're doing 12 lawns. But, any more than that, like let's say if you have a really big day, you got to knock out 15, 16 yards. And additionally, and this is a big one, more hands on deck, it means that you are able to take on these bigger landscaping projects or sod projects that sometimes they just inevitably fall in your lap. If you are a one-man show, there's just no chance of you taking on a 20, 25 pallet sod job. I mean, it's just, you can't get all the grass down in time. Like you have to have help to do that. And while you don't need these big ticket items like landscaping and sod jobs to really earn a good living as a lawn care business owner, I have just found that those sod jobs and landscaping jobs, man, they're icing on the cake. And if we're just being totally honest, like in the beginning when I started out just solo, man, there was an opportunity I had to bid a really, really big project. It was a big landscaping project. There was sod involved with it. and a tear out and reinstall of landscaping beds. And it was probably going to be a $12,000 to $15,000 project. And I could not do it. Like, I did not have the resource. I did not have the help to do it. And I ended up referring that job out to another company in our area. And I'll be honest with you, man, that still really stings to this day, because I drive by that lawn and I'm like, that company probably made $15,000 off that job. I just was not at a point in my business where I could take on those types of projects. So having the help, it not only helps you with increased scalability and ramping up your volume, but it also allows you to take on those big ticket items. Next is diversity in skill sets. And I'll tell you what, man, I've had some guys come on here at my company, and you might not think a whole lot of them in the beginning, and then they show you some of the things that they know how to do. And it's always just kind of, mesmerizing to me, just like some of these skills and experiences that people have. For example, I do not understand the complexities of sprinkler systems with like the electrical wiring and manifolds and all that. I just never invested the time to figuring that stuff out. Sure, I make basic sprinkler line repairs and replace heads and stuff like that, but the actual electrical side of that, it's just not something that I know. I had two brothers one time that before they came on with me, they had worked for sprinkler companies all around in our area, and it was just so nice. Like, whenever a client of ours had something going wrong, man, they were just experts in that stuff, and it was just so nice to have that diversity in our skill sets. The point is with a team, you just lean on the collective strengths of everyone. Next, and this is a big one, is the reduced workload of owners. And while I think a lot of guys think that being a boss and having employees means that they just completely run the shift for you, and it's just like, I'm just raking in the money and everybody else is doing it. That is the furthest thing from the truth, and that is why a lot of people just don't ever get off the ground with hiring employees, is because I think there is this perception that, like, hey, I'm just going to turn everything over to them, and this is my ticket to Easy Street. That is absolutely a recipe for disaster. Look, lawn care is a young man's game, and while I've seen plenty of guys in their 50s and 60s do really, really well operating solo, the truth is this line of work, if you're still the guy out in the field, it does take an absolute beating on your body over the years. And I've always been able to recover from very, very strenuous days. Now, there's some days that you get up the next day and you're just like, man, I can't believe I got to get up and go do this again, And again, I'm in good physical condition. But imagine being in your 50s or 60s and then having a day that absolutely wipes you out. Recovery is not the same. It's just not. So having some reduced workload on yourself by being able to just delegate some responsibilities to your other team members, just have somebody just lessen the load for you a little bit, man, it really makes a tremendous difference. Okay, this next one is a very, very important one to me, and I didn't even consider it whenever I first started my lawn care business, but it's this. It's the knowledge that I am providing, some jobs, some good paying jobs to people. Here's the deal. Not everyone is cut out or wants to, run a full-blown business. But I'll tell you this, as difficult as labor is in our industry, there are still a lot of guys out there that want to work hard. They want to work hard. They want a fair wage, all right? And they're dependable. And believe it or not, yes, it's difficult to find them, but there are guys out there that don't want to run businesses. They want to show up, they want to work hard, and they're dependable. And just knowing that I am able to provide a good paying job in desirable work conditions to somebody who wants a good solid job, man, that really, I do take a lot of pride in that. This time of year, we're sending out our W-2 information to everybody. And I got to tell you, I look down at our payroll report, and I'm proud of the numbers that are on those W-2s. I really am. It's like, hey, for working 8 to 9 months out of the year, we pay really well, and I'm proud of the numbers that we put on our W-2s. It just gives a sense of pride of knowing that this idea of starting a business that was just in my head, it was just a silly idea I had in my head, has now turned into providing good paying jobs for people that really, really matters. Guys, are you solo or are you looking at adding help? Let me know what I missed down in the comments section. I want to know, what are some benefits that I might have overlooked of having your own employees? Lord knows there's a lot of stuff, a lot of reasons for staying solo. But hey, if you're thinking about just kind of pushing the envelope a little bit this year, there are just some advantages to having some help.